Well, Ken, what going on in sports,
Well,
boy?
guys, last weekend I ended up in Toko for my friend Chris Dennis. He has this program called Ways for Hope, where he's teaching kids to surf, as well as helping them focus on their goals through surfing. So it kind of like using the drive through surfing to help them focus on their goals. And he
Nice.
has this program called Waves for Hope, which I had an opportunity to check out. One by one, they arrive for their classes with the Waves for Hope Foundation in the northeastern coast village of Balandra. Waves of Hope Trinidad is led by one of our country's top surfers and the local Balandra boy, Chris Dennis. But what is Waves of Hope, you may ask?
Waves for Hope is a mental health program we run with kids and youths between the ages of 7 to 22, 23. Um, we use surfing, couples other sports, skateboarding and that kind of thing. We use it with mental health, which basically gives them tools to cope with stress. Stresses from school, exams, maybe community, maybe at home.
Chris says they hope that the lessons that come with learning to surf can also help the participants use that same drive when pursuing their life goals.
Well, we do a fair bit of meditation, and surfing would be one of the fun activities that we use to create a belief system where they could challenge that wave. They could, some of them who can't swim properly, they could overcome the fear of the ocean by actually, instead of dwelling on their fear, learning to swim, and life is kind of like that. Life is like waves, and you have to be able to ride the waves. And if you have the better skills you are at riding waves, the better you can be at life and being a good human.
And with classes continuing without the actual ability to surf, how are their students coping?
We use the beach as a safe space. We have two main beaches that we use. And now that we can gather in groups of 25, because we do 25 participants at a time, we have to now do, smaller groups. And we do workshops. We do workshops in mindfulness. Actually, we just finished up a workshop, a cycle of workshop in bullying. We're just starting a new cycle, which we call Vision Board, where youths can actually, we use like a kind of fun game, but it's actually a workshop based in mindfulness, where they can really think about what they want to do, what they want to become, and be able to envision it, write it down on paper, and that subconsciously would be able to tell them whenever they're doing things, if they're moving towards their dreams or goals, or if they're moving away from it.
And while surfing and other classroom work may be the focus for Waves for Hope, the participants are also being taught other valuable life skills such as CPR.
It was amazing. It was a couple of days of intensive basic and first aid, basic first aid and CPR. We did it with Life Cycle 360, and it was really good. It wasn't one of those courses where you sit down and you just look at some videos and that kind of thing. The final exam hinges on real scenarios, like a lot of role playing and how you would react. We're working with youths and kids, and we do a fair bit of work in the water and obviously on land too. I think the CPR course was a bit historic, because now we have our young upcoming mentors having these skills that they could then take to their homes, they could take to the community, they could save a life, which is, of course, super important.
Chris says, however, the organization does need help that is critical for the program to continue.
We at Waves for Hope, for our participants, we've been realizing that accessing internet, accessing smart devices has been a typical problem over the last few months since these times that we're living in. It's been a real challenge. We've started an online campaign asking for secondhand smart devices, tablets, phones, because a lot of our participants don't have access to this. And now with prices being jacked up in terms of it's in demand, right? So it's difficult. It's difficult for parents. It's difficult And I feel like we in the rural communities, like we a lot of the times, our youths in Trinidad in general, I shouldn't just talk about our community, are slipping through the cracks with situations like these.